Good morning. So, a lot of the channels out there that are involved in the mud flood and the Tartarian and the lost history um, just don't seem to understand that previous civilizations had a lot of higher technology than we even have today, and a lot more creativity. But, you know, these factories that were everywhere here in America, like I said, they were producing every nut, bolt, you know, tile, flooring, windows, stained glass. I mean, these factories were sophisticated. I mean, they had CNC machines back then. They had people that were real artisans. And, people want to act like, oh, someone hand carved, a ceiling, when in fact it was a machine that produced that particular ceiling. And then you have carpenters that install it. Um, the same with, all these columns and statues and faces in the walls of these cement and this, that, and the other, because they want us to believe, that we came from apes, that, you know, we were all savages out here living in teepees and driving covered wagons, when in fact, you know, to this day we still have horse drawn buggies giving tours. And that's basically what was happening during that time period. People weren't riding around in horse and buggies. We had, you know, a lot of technology where people could travel around with these airships, these cars that were, run on air. It wasn't till, the old Bushes decided to destroy the world with their oil exploration, because they actually needed that to dig further into the core for what they're doing. It really didn't have anything to do with the automobile. But it's just like the Tucker automobile. The big three bought him out because he could get 50 miles to the gallon. I believe 50 cars were actually produced. And there's a few of them that are still around today. But they did not want that out because, my God, they got to make every dime. It's just like everything that they make nowadays doesn't last long. So we have this giant trash pile of things. I mean, my great aunt had a refrigerator that was still working when she replaced it, and she'd had it for 40 or 50 years. So, that kind of technology was available, but of course, these criminals, make everything to be disposable. Now, my great great grandfather uh, put the gold, what's really like a gold leaf paint, on the Capitol building in Georgia. And that building was already there. It was just because every now and then they spruce it up because it gets a little dull. But these buildings were all there. And of course, they kind of, I believe, like old world exploration said in the 50s, kind of scrubbed people's memories of what they inherited, so they couldn't pass this information on to their family members, because they didn't want us to know the truth. They didn't want us to know that our civilizations have been stolen, have been, all of the, I mean, there was wealth beyond most people's imagination, enough so that there's nobody on this planet that would go hungry or homeless. And, when you've got a bunch of greedy banksters out there that want it all, well, then that's what you have, is a lot of hungry and homeless, because the churches sure didn't do their jobs. You think of all the churches, tons and tons of churches. I mean, hell, just in Charleston alone, they have 100 churches. I think over 100 churches. So if these churches were doing what they were supposed to be doing and helping their communities, there would be no drug addicts. There would be no homeless, hungry. There would be, a much better civilization. But of course, when you've got the Pope calling for every church in the world to send them their money, that something serious is wrong with the churches. But these criminals, they use these secret societies, and these people think that they're, um, you know, on the good side of this, when in fact they've sold their soul. When they bow down with a chain around their neck and, a knife to their chest and take off their wedding ring and run around naked in front of a bunch of men, well, you pretty much know that these people are demons. And they've always been demons, because these societies are all demonic. There's nothing good about a secret. I mean, when you have to lie, cheat, steal, con, bribe people, do horrific things behind the scene, well, that's not good. Anyway, have a good day.